This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network, now in its 8th year of talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey everybody, this is Alex and this is the Ramble, and we go from now until midnight from New York, New York. Hello, Stephen Kravitz. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Alex Bennett?
Yeah, he's all the way up there in Massachusetts.
Right.
And how's life going for you up there?
No complaints. Who would listen?
Yeah, well, you have a new apartment or a new place you're living.
Right.
It's a house. We should, previously on talking to Steve Kravitz, we found out that he was living with an ex-girlfriend in a house in Massachusetts. And
That's correct.
And it's really nice. I mean, it's is it the same, paying about the same price you were paying for your other place, or a little more?
No, I'm paying like half.
Half? Oh, so you got more money in your pockets to do other stuff with.
That's right.
Yeah. In the old days, it would have been buying drugs, but you're a whole new person.
That's correct. I'm new and improved.
New and improved. Stephen Kravitz. So what did you do on New Year? Anything?
I went to bed at 10.
You know, a lot of people are saying that lately.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's like, you know, all of a sudden you say to yourself, so it's just another day that's passed.
That's right.
You know? I mean, what's to celebrate? I mean, yes, you're giving yourself an excuse to celebrate, okay? And that's about it. But otherwise, you know, it has nothing important about it, you know. So,
No.
Yeah. So you didn't have a gig or anything like that?
I haven't had a gig in God knows how long.
I talked to Bubbles, and he didn't work on New Year's.
Is that right?
Yeah, the main job that he was offered was to go to, I don't know, some other city, major city, was opening for Rob Schneider, right?
Okay.
And he just didn't want to travel. You know, he didn't want to do it.
You know what city it was?
I can't remember now. You know,
Probably like San Jose.
no, it was no. That would have been a pleasure for him. He would have done that. You know, but this was like, I don't know, Omaha or some place that you don't want to go on New Year. You know, so
Right.
he just didn't want to go. So he didn't work New Year. You know, I mean, it's something there that
No, I was looking at the dog.
dog? What kind of dog?
Chihuahua.
Small one, huh?
Yeah, little. 6 pounds.
I used to call them kickapoos.
Yeah, well,
You know.
no more.
Well, I used to hate about small dogs and also cats is you trip over them.
Right.
And they purposely get in your way anyway.
You think so?
Oh, yeah, cats do. Oh, cats are conniving little bastards. You know, that's what I love. That's what I love about cats, is they're conniving. They've always got, there's something going on in the brain up here that says, okay, now if I trip him over and then I act hurt, I will get attention.
Right.
You know, but with a dog, it's like, oh God, I got in the way. Oh, I'm sorry, I got in the way. You know?
Right.
Are you a dog man or a cat?
Dog.
I'm cat.
Are you really?
Yeah, I love cats. I love cats. There's something about cats. What I like about cats is they're better than I am. You know.
What do you mean? How's that?
They take charge, and you have to earn their respect. You know,
that right?
Where a dog just gives you their respect, just because you're the master. You know.
Right.
But
right.
Cats go, okay, I love you, I'm hungry. I love you, I'm hungry. Okay, so
Right.
then you feed them and it's go fuck yourself. You know, I mean, and I like that. I don't want an animal who's subservient to me.
Is that right?
Yeah. And, you know, I had a cat once that I had for 18 years. And when he died, I started to think about it, and I couldn't believe that in that 16 years he never uttered a word to me, that he didn't speak to me, because somehow we had this ongoing relationship, you know, and it was all done cat to human.
Or human to cat.
Human to cat, you know, so what the hell. So anyway, so is it cold up there?
Today's not bad.
Yeah,
it's been raining.
But did you get any of that storm?
Oh yeah.
Oh really? How many feet do they say?
We didn't get snow, we got rain.
Really? You don't get snow up there?
No, we do, normally. But
Wow.
global warming has made it possible for us to get rain.
Oh, I see. Okay, because we got cold. We were down to 9 degrees.
Is that right?
And needless to
Did you
say,
get any snow?
No. There was a little slight, you know, I mean, it's that cold. If there's what would normally be a drizzle, then you'll get some snow, but nothing that stuck on the ground.
Right.
You know. But it was hellaciously cold here, like 9 degrees for like 4 days straight.
Oh, God.
And our landlord wasn't sending up any heat.
Isn't that against the law?
Yes, we reported him. I mean, you can't. Yeah, I mean, their boiler went bad on them or something. They decided to fix their boiler for 2 days. So for at least the daytime hours, we didn't have any heat, and pretty much not much heat at night either. And I slept literally in this. You know.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. And Marjorie was freezing too. I mean, it was hellacious.
Right.
But we got past it because it got warmer again. You know, it's supposedly if they have to keep the internal temperature of an apartment or of apartments or the apartment building at 62 degrees.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the law. And so here's what they have in our apartment. The landlords who are in Brooklyn control the heat from Brooklyn. Well, you know, I mean, it's all the stuff where you can control anything from anywhere if you want to.
Right.
And they have this thing where there's some, like, I don't know, temperature gaugers or something in the building, and if it doesn't go under 62, they don't turn on the heat. Well, I want to know what happens when it's 40 and we still don't have any heat.
Right.
You know,
right.
They have to do the turning on and off from Brooklyn. I can't say to my super, hey, it's not warm enough up here and he'd go down to the boiler and turn it on.
Right.
He has no control over it.
Can you call them?
No.
Why not? They don't have a phone?
Try and get a hold of anybody today for anything. You know, I had Verizon, Fios. Very hard to find a number to call them on. You can do a little chat with somebody, and that's insane because that goes on forever.
Right.
You know,
and they never answer your questions.
And they never answer your question or get it done. I had a problem with Verizon, and I called them. I think it was Verizon, and I actually got a human being. Maybe it was some other thing, where I could have gone to the chat, and I got a human being, a woman who happened to be down in I think somewhere like Georgia or something like that, who solved my problem for me like that, a human being. But
right.
If you go to that chat, you get somebody who goes, oh, they just go to their little book. Here, try this, try that, you know.
Or it's an automated system.
No, there's somebody there.
Is that right?
There is somebody there. But I prefer to talk to a human being. But try
me too.
With any of these companies, your electric bill. Let's say you want to talk to the power company. Try and call them. Try and get a number to call them on. No, though you can go to their site and they'll have a chat thing you can do.
Right.
But they won't have a phone number you can call. They don't want to talk to you.
That's like Facebook. Facebook, they don't want to talk to you.
Facebook, you can't find anybody.
Right.
Never, ever, ever, ever can you find anybody. But, in that case, you're not paying for it, so they can do anything they want to do. But when you're
Is that-
paying $300 like we are to the electric company, I'd like to be able to have a phone number where I can talk to a human being who is concerned about what's wrong with my problem.
Right,
my system.
right, exactly,
You know,
exactly.
and all this. This is the bad part about computers: the fact that they don't have to talk to you; that they can have other ways of dealing with the problem. Now, I have to admit, with Verizon, I had a problem once, and they said the automated response was, "Let me go check and see what we can do about it," and it did a couple of things and corrected my problem.
Oh, really?
Yes, but that was amazing to me.
Right, that's not the norm.
Because you shouldn't be able by remote control all of a sudden, but I think they just knew what to turn off, what to turn on, what to check was working, and turn it back on again. You know, so
No, everything you have is Verizon?
no, my internet is Verizon. Actually,
Okay.
it used to be my cable system, but I cut the cord, and I went to Hulu Plus.
Okay.
Which is costing me about $92 a month. But I used to have, at its height, my Verizon bill for cable and everything was like $276.
Is that right?
So now it's down to about $200 with me. No, $195 actually, with me doing the cord cutting and going to Hulu Plus. But I also
Right.
in that $92 a month that I pay for it, I'm paying extra $9 a month to have more than 2 sets at a time on to it. Okay.
What do you mean?
Well, if I have, let's say I have 5 sets in my apartment, which is I think what we have. Okay. And let's say Marjorie turns on 2 of them, that's fine. If she goes and turns on a third, she can't get it. Okay.
Really?
Yeah. So you have to pay the extra $9 a month, which I get because I know that she's going to like go batshit crazy if she can't get it on 3 or 4 sets that you can leave on all the time.
Right, right.
So that's
right.
costing me $9 a month, but it would save me even considerably more money. And I also get the Disney bundle, which is Hulu, Disney Plus, and ESPN Plus.
Right.
All included in that. So you have to take $20 off of that price. And really, in reality, I'm only paying, I'm paying about $175 a month. So
What does the Disney bundle cost you?
well, the Disney bundle is part of the Hulu thing. You subscribe to Hulu, and they give you the Disney bundle.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. So, if you think about it, we're saving money. We're not a great deal, but we cut about $100 off our bill.
That's a lot. That adds up.
That's $1,200 a year.
Yeah, that adds up.
And we could probably have gone cheaper if we didn't want everything.
Right.
So,
Do you have Netflix?
yeah, I have Netflix. I think it's useless personally, but it's
Is that right?
It's gotten a little better in the last couple of months. There've been a couple of things that were really good.
Like what?
Well, I saw one movie that I liked, and I'm trying to remember what the name of it was. Emily is a Criminal, I think it's called.
Never heard of it.
Emily the Criminal. Yeah, very good film. Amazing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And let me see here. I'm trying to think of what else we watched that we really liked on there. There were a couple of things I can't remember now. And I watched Wednesday, which I thought was pretty
Oh, really?
good.
Was it good?
Yeah, I liked it. I can't get Marjorie to watch it. She's like really stubborn about these things. Oh, it's about the Addams family. I don't want to watch that. Well, it's suppose somebody does a completely different twist on
Right.
the Addams family. And that's what this is.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's the premise?
Well, the premise is, remember Wednesday Addams,
Sure.
the kid?
Sure.
Well, it's all about her going away to a school and all the adventures there and, the mystery that's going on and so on. But it's played by a great actress, I can't remember her name now, who's very lovable and likable. And it's just fun, It's just fun. It's directed by Tim Burton.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's pretty good all the way around, You know.
Didn't it get canceled?
No, no,
I thought it got canceled with the second season. They're not doing the second season.
no, not at all. No, they haven't even announced a second season yet. But they're going to give it a second season because, like last week, it got over 5 billion minutes of watching. That's a lot of watching.
That's a lot of watching.
Mm-hmm. So they're gonna have them go with another one. That's for damn sure.
Right.
But you know who's in trouble? Who's really a pain in the ass? You have HBO Max?
No.
Well, I like HBO Max. I mean, they had Game of Thrones and things like that, and they got bought up by Discovery, and AT&T sold it to Discovery because they had owned HBO at that time, and Discovery has decided they got to cut the bottom line. They got to cut $3 billion out of their overhead. And so what are they doing? They're canceling things like Westworld on HBO, a bunch of shows on HBO that are popular.
Right.
And yesterday I read they're eliminating 256 Warner Brothers cartoons out of like the 500 they already have on there. Yeah, because they don't want to have to pay the royalties on them.
Oh, okay.
So all the ones they've left there are prior to like 1950s, I guess.
So it's public domain.
Well, it's not public domain, but I'm sure the royalty thing is just very minor.
Right.
When you finally get to the ones that came out in the 60s and 70s, you're dealing with the Mel Blanc estate, and things like that.
Right.
But what the hell? I mean, that's what makes HBO Max HBO Max. It's part of the Warner Brothers family. And a lot of the films that they would have shown in 4K, they're showing in HD because they don't have to pay the bandwidth fees.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I mean, they're gutting, literally, and they're going to change it from HBO Max to Max. So, I mean, it sucks. It absolutely sucks. And a lot of these companies have been bought up by other people who are trying to, cut the cost, and so they're going to start doing that sort of stuff,
The whole bottom line thing.
Yeah, well, the one thing I have to hand to Netflix, and I cut them down. I had a 4K service from them. I'm saving $5 a month by only having the regular service, the HD service.
What does Netflix cost you a month?
With just the HD, $15, I think, something like that.
Is that right?
Yeah, where it was costing me $20 for the with 4K. But
Right.
a lot of these other organizations aren't charging you for the 4K. They just give it to you. I mean, there's still some movies on HBO Max that are in 4K, but watched a movie yesterday, The Menu.
Oh, really? Is that any good?
I liked it. Marjorie didn't.
Well, isn't that a horror movie?
Yes, it is, but it isn't. You know what I'm
They
saying?
eat the guests? Aren't the guests the menu?
No, the guests aren't the menu. No, that's not it.
Oh, I thought they were.
But they want to kill the guests. In the end, it builds up to where the guests are imperiled. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
And Ralph Fiennes stars in it, and Anya Taylor-Joy, who was in The Gambit.
Okay.
And I think I enjoyed it. Marjorie didn't like it.
Didn't like it at all.
Didn't like it at all. Yeah. Her taste, I'll tell you, trouble with being married and getting older when you're married is your tastes start diverging. Like, where before I could say, okay, Wednesday's kind of a good show, you should see it. She'd go, okay, I'll give it a try.
Right.
Today, it's not my kind of thing. I don't want to watch it. No, I'm absolutely not going to watch it. I mean, it's almost like she's entrenched, like the Republicans against Murphy,
Yeah, no kidding.
just entrenched. So I can't get her to watch anything that, I think she might like. So, and then she goes and watches these dopey movies on Netflix, these things that really belong on the Hallmark Channel.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, but they're Netflix originals, so, they got to be better than anything else. And you're going, it sucks, But I really enjoyed Wednesday. I thought it was a lot of fun,
What did I watch on Netflix? Sweet Tooth.
Sweet Tooth? What is that?
There's a plague that kind of wipes out most of the human beings, and they start having these hybrid kids. They're part deer, part human, part pig, part human. It was really stupid.
Okay. Well, that's most of Netflix stuff. I mean, Netflix originals.
Right.
Yeah.
This one was really silly.
Well, I might mention it to Marjorie and let her start watching it. Because it's on Netflix.
Oh, she'd like it. She'd like it.
Oh, really? Is it a horror?
Probably.
It sounds like a horror picture.
No, it's not.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. So, okay. Well, I never heard of it, but But anyway, so and then let's see, what else do I have? I have Paramount Plus. I'll tell you something. On Paramount Plus, I'm watching 1923, the show with Helen Mirren and Harrison Ford.
Oh, is that any good?
Which is part of the Yellowstone history of the Dutton family. And 1923, 1883 was terrific. It was really terrific. And this is even better. I mean, it just has heart, and it's really an amazingly good show. And so I suggest everybody watch it. So, that, and I am enjoying. Marjorie isn't as much because she's resistant to the Sylvester Stallone series Tulsa King.
Oh, is that any good?
Yes, I like it.
He's a gangster, right?
You may not believe this. It's the only time he ever played a gangster.
Is that right?
He never played a gangster. And so it's the first time he played a gangster. Yeah, it's a gangster who went to prison for 25 years rather than rat on the mob. Okay? And he gets out, and the mob gives him something. They say, okay, we're sending you to Tulsa. Take it over. So they send him to Tulsa. It's like he's banished to Tulsa, but first he goes to a marijuana dispensary and takes that over, and then he's going to something else and taking that over, and then certain people are getting mad at him. Now he's got the mob wanting to kill him and some bikers wanting to kill him. So I enjoy the show.
It's a family entertainment.
Yeah, and Marjorie went, "Oh, Stallone can't act." Well, I think I've seen Stallone act in a picture called Cop, I think a few years back. He was terrific, just terrific. I just think he has more talent than people give him credit for. I mean, people forget he wrote Rocky.
Right.
That was his script, and the only reason he starred in it is they didn't want him to star in it, and he said, "Then you don't get the script.
Right.
You want the script, you take me. It's a package deal," and that's what made his career.
And, no kidding.
And he's written several other movies too, not as good.
How many
as
Rockies did they do?
Well,
5?
They did about 5 Rockies, and then they did one of just Sylvester, Rocky Balboa's. I think it was called Balboa or something. And there were a couple of more of those. And now they're doing a series called Creed, which is based on Apollo Creed, the boxer, actually the son of the boxer who fought Stallone. So I mean that they keep going, and they keep going. They're amazing.
Did he write Ramble?
Yes, I think. I mean, he's a talented guy, and people never.
Yeah, no kidding.
They never gave him that kind of credit because of the kind of dopey movies he did.
Right.
But come on, you're a working actor. You take any job that comes along.
Isn't that the truth?
Helen Mirren will show up in anything, but she's a really good actress, and everybody admits that. But they don't hold that against her, but they hold it against some people who go, Hey, I want a payday today. They offered me $10 million to do this dumb movie. I'll do it. You know,
Absolutely.
and nobody should blame you for doing it. You
No.
know? So I find that amazing. I have to use my glasses now. I can't see the screen. You know, we've run out of time here.
Is that right?
Yeah, just chatting, having a good chat, as it were.
As it were.
As it were. Anyway, we'll see you next week.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's our old friend, Stephen Kravitz. Wave goodbye, Stephen.
This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network, now in its 8th year of talk like you've never heard it before.
Well, a happy Thursday to everybody. Glad you could join us on our thing called the Ramble. It's called that because I don't know why it's called that. It's just called that. Anyway, how are you all? Having a good evening? That's fine. That's well and good. Anyway, let me see here. Well, I got nothing to talk about until I start talking to these people. And the two people I have waiting on the line are two of the smartest people that call this program. Okay? And it's Josh Wheeler, who we have the pleasure of this week, most days simply because he quit his job. And he's going to work somewhere else. And when? A couple of weeks?
Yeah, maybe 9-10 more days, whatever it is.
9-10 more days?
Just
Okay.
like that.
Okay. Do you sign contracts for your jobs at all?
No.
No. Okay. But you know, but there, you know what I was always afraid of is when people would come along and offer me a job, is that I had to make sure I had all the papers signed and everything. Because in my business, they could hire me and I'd quit my other job, and then I go to them and they go, sorry. No way. You know.
Yeah, no, I mean, you don't really, I mean, you get an offer letter that tells you what you're going to get, what you're entitled to.
Okay. Well,
I mean, you sign it and everything, but it's not, you know, it's not a contract in terms of I can't change my mind or they can't change their mind, you know, really at any time.
Yeah.
Pretty much. You know.
Yeah, well, in my business, it's a cutthroat business. Once I didn't take a job with a guy I should have taken a job with, simply because I had to quit my one job before he would offer me a job, because he said he didn't want to be in the position of having stolen a talent away from another company.
Yeah.
And so I had to quit my job before he would hire me, and I didn't trust that. So I gave it up, and I gave it up, and he turned out later on, when I went to Sirius XM, to be the best boss I ever had. You know, and the most honorable person.
Right.
Charlie, got your hand up.
Yeah, on YouTube, you're the only one there. We don't have everybody else.
Of course. You know why? Because I'm a stupid asshole, is what it all is. Okay, thank you for telling me that.
Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, you get a thing that tells you what you'll get and all that kind of stuff. But, I mean, all they really care about is, specifically because I was going to a competitor, was if I had some kind of a non-competition agreement.
Do you know that the what do you call
Which
it?
I don't.
What's the department in charge of things like workplace stuff? Not OSHA. That's health. But whoever it was, a government agency today just passed a law. You can't have people in any businesses fill out non-compete clauses. They've been made.
I don't know. I didn't hear anything about that.
They've been,
I mean, they have like the Equal Opportunity Employment Commission, and then.
Well, this was, I can't remember which one this was. But
National Labor Relations Board, like the NLRB.
Might have been something like that, yeah. But they put out a thing that said no non-competition clauses now.
Is that only for federal contractors then, or?
No, this goes for all work, any job. In other words, they couldn't make you sign a non-competition clause at your new job.
I'm not sure how they have the right to do that.
Yeah, me either. Wow.
Private
so I don't know. Maybe that was like.
Well, I agree. I agree that.
I have to read up on that. I don't know.
No, I mean, come on. You know, I am a free agent of sorts. I mean, while you have a contract with me, of course I can't go somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
But if I choose to leave and you want me not to compete with you, you have to keep paying me.
Yeah.
Let's say you fire me or something, you have to keep paying me. So you know, it's it's a whole weird thing, but I never liked non-competition clauses, and I never signed them, for that reason. Let's see, is this Rob? Let me see here. Is this Rob Alfano? Could it be? Let's see, wait until the picture shows up. Otherwise, if it's somebody showing me a bunch of nude people, what do you know?
Rob.
From the Philippines yet. There's Rob. And it's daytime there, too. Right, Rob? Yeah. Wait a minute. Your mic isn't on. What? Yeah, 1 minute. He'll figure it out.
Right now.
There it is.
There you
yeah.
go.
Yeah. Wow. What a pleasure.
How's it going?
What a pleasure. And you can talk to us, and you need not worry about any companies being mad at you if you said something wrong, And
It's all over.
yeah, the reason he stopped calling was because he had some pretty good jobs, okay? It paid a lot of money. Move away from that window because the line, see the sun is coming through? Yeah. There, well, we got two windows.
Yeah,
Damn
I'm
it.
surrounded by windows.
It's
here.
too sunny in the Philippines, for crying out loud. There you go.
There you go. That's much better.
Yeah, that's much better. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's perfect. Yeah. Gee, so you must have some pretty good Wi-Fi there, right?
Yeah. Got what do you call it? Sort of like Verizon FiOS, digital. What's the word I'm looking for?
Fiber.
Fiber.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, we're also
3 weeks now.
what?
Been here a big 3 weeks now.
Oh, wow.
And the reason I haven't called before is because I still haven't adjusted to the fact that it's 11:30 in the morning that your program starts here.
Are you going to get into that fashion where you wear a white shirt and then you wear undershirt under it that everybody can see through to your undershirt? Are you gonna, you know what
I'm just every day it's a t-shirt and shorts.
Okay, so they figure you're a tourist.
Look at my face. It's funny. I go into the malls here and people stop me. They think I'm this actor. I look just like this Filipino actor.
Oh, really?
One guy was following me around the mall and he's smiling at me, and he didn't speak English very well, and he went over to my wife and because he saw me with him, and he was like, "Is that?" And I don't know the guy's name, but when my wife Googled a photo of him, looks like me.
Really?
So,
well, maybe you can get some work doubling for him or something over there. Hello to, by the way, we haven't seen this guy in a while either. John Larkin. Hello, John.
Hi, how are you?
How you doing in flooded San Francisco?
Yeah.
Very wet, yeah.
Wow.
Trees are falling down and it's flooding.
Yeah. So is it the end of the world as we know it?
Yeah, pretty much. It's crazy.
Wait, I'm going to be there tomorrow night for dinner. South of Market, how's it doing?
Well, you know those restaurants you used to go to for sushi, where they used to have the boats going around with the food, and then you would pick the food out as the boat came by.
Yeah.
Well, that's how your dinner's going to be tomorrow night, only in the street.
Yeah.
Just so happens I'm going to a sushi bar.
That's the way it is in Capitola.
Did you ever go to one of those sushi bars I'm talking about, where there was boats?
Sushi boats. Yeah, I've never been to one.
Well, I thought it was a really stupid idea when I heard of it, and they said, you want to go to a place where they have sushi boats? And I went, okay. And I went, and I actually enjoyed it.
I've never been.
Yeah, all those restaurants down on the beach in Capitola got wiped out.
Oh yeah, really?
All got fish right on the bar.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez almighty. Well,
across the
pier got
railroad
busted in
tracks and
half.
everything.
Now here we have Rob. He's in the Philippines right now. What's the
Rob.
What's the temperature right now?
I would say probably about 82 or 83.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
And this is winter there, isn't it?
This is our winter, yeah. So the weather's been magnificent. Today and yesterday we had rain the first time since I've been here.
Mm-hmm.
The weather's just been really, really nice. And I left New York just in time. We were there for 4 months after we sold our house in Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Was staying with my brother in his basement.
That was out in Long Island, right?
Yeah. And we left on December 11th, and like right after that, it got cold there. So we just missed all that.
Yeah. And so now, how do you like the Philippines so far?
I like everything with the exception of driving here. You haven't lived until you've driven here in the Philippines.
Somebody said that last night, didn't they?
Yeah, Bree was talking about it.
Bree was talking about that because I mentioned that you had moved to the Philippines and I had written you and you had written back, and I wanted to tell people how you were. And then he said he's in the Philippines. Tell him not to drive.
Right.
I just bought a car. The first day I got it on the road, I dented it because I ran over a motorcycle guy.
Oh,
not joking. These people are crazy here. There's no traffic rules. Think of New York City, Manhattan, without a traffic light, without one-way streets. Anything goes anytime. So what happened was I was turning into where I live off the street. There was a little scooter in my blind spot. I turned, I heard thump, and I knocked him over.
So what do? You just say fuck it and go?
Yeah,
no,
really.
I pulled over. I got out of the car. My wife and I got out of the car. He's a delivery guy. He delivers like Uber. He delivers food, Grubhub or one of those, right?
Yeah.
And it was late at night. It was about almost midnight. And we picked up the bike. We picked him up. And I apologized. And the guy was like, "Yeah, don't worry about it. No big deal." I'm like, "What? What?"
Yeah, here they would have been you and exchanging numbers and lawyers.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I said to him, he was right. I mean, there weren't that many people on the road. He was in my blind spot. I did not see him when I turned into the development here, making a right turn right in. Mm-hmm. And he said, I took my hand and I held it out and against the car when I saw it. And he goes, and I went down in slow motion. And there were two women who also were witnesses, who were also on scooters, who were also delivery people.
But because everybody it sounds like it sounds like everybody in the Philippines is a delivery person.
Well, believe me, there's a lot of that. But everybody was laughing and ha ha ha, and I was like dumb. I said to my wife, "I'm never going to drive again," and all this, right? But you get used to it. I do not like driving here.
So today you backed out of your driveway and ran the guy over completely.
Yeah, it's like Grand Theft Auto,
Yeah. Well, you won the game.
The very first day, I was driving on a highway. This wasn't really a highway, but it was a clear road ahead of me. There was a guy in a scooter in front of me, wearing no helmet, nothing, right? He's got a baseball cap on, like your cap, Alex.
Right.
And I'm driving along. I must have been doing about 35, 40 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. I see his cap fly off, and he just hits the brakes to get his cap. Doesn't pull over. No. I almost creamed him.
What does it take? Wait a minute. Now, did you get yourself a driver's license there yet?
No. I'm still using my U.S. driver's license. Yeah. I can't get a driver's license until I get some sort of card that I need. I got to start the process to get a visa. And
I can hardly wait till you go to get your license to find out what you have to do, because I imagine the questionnaire is one question: do you have a car?
Yeah,
I mean, it sounds like
test.
What?
There's no test. There's no test.
Well, there's no test? No wonder it's like that.
Test. No. There's a test if you are a new driver. There's no test for someone who's been driving for 50 odd years.
Oh, wow.
You just show up.
It's like when I moved to Virginia. When I moved to Virginia, I surrendered my New York license, got a Virginia license.
Wow.
Don't you just show up there to get your license with some pork adobo and you're in, everybody here is on the take, so it's not like if you get pulled over by the police, you offer them, 1,000 pesos, which is about $20.
That bad?
Yeah, that's it.
20 years ago, I had a girlfriend from the Philippines. That's all she knew how to cook. Pork adobo every night,
What is pork adobo?
Adobo is a big style of cooking here, and you could do chicken adobo or pork adobo, or beef adobo. Pork and chicken are probably the most.
What is the adobo part? Okay, we know we have the pork. Okay,
Some
we have the
spices.
chicken, but what's the adobo?
It's a sauce. It's a
Like a stew.
It's like a
like a what?
stew.
It's like a
Like
stew,
a
maybe.
stew.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
way to put it. Yeah.
So you've had it.
My-
You've had it several times since you got there.
Adobo, Senegal,
Pancet.
all kinds of. That's what I've been eating here. Is all Filipino food.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Pancet, right? Pancet, the noodles.
Pancit, yep.
Yeah.
well, I know you weren't really happy here in the United States. You weren't happy with the politics.
I wasn't happy with the politics. Not why I moved though.
Well, you should be here now. This is a wonderful time to be here. There is a show going on in Washington right now, which you couldn't have written. You know, you couldn't have thought up. This is the best science fiction or whatever. I don't know. It's
the McCarthy thing.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, the McCarthy.
Delightful.
Yeah,
Another Trump-backed person.
Yeah.
yeah.
Trump hasn't done so well. This
And he's sitting there, and they vote for him, and 20 people don't vote for him, so he can't get it.
Heard about that.
All right. So now he
I
decides.
still have all my
Okay.
American TV here.
Yeah, he says.
So I
Yeah.
watch every.
So he decided, okay, to go for the second vote, right? A second round of voting, and once again he gets 20 votes against him. Now he's something like 18 shy of winning it, of getting the House Speaker. So then he tries a third time, and now he's 21 down. Now, let me ask you a question, Rob. I want to ask these guys because they know the answer. If you were a guy like Kevin McCarthy, and 3 times people had said, no, we don't want you as our speaker, and it's really got to be your own Republicans who are voting for you, and this is not looking good for the party that he can't get his people together. What would you do? When would you stop?
Politics is such a strange thing.
No, I'm talking about you. When would you stop?
I would stop after the third strike. 3 strikes, you're out.
Yeah.
I mean, and now he went from 20 to 21.
Yeah.
Right?
on the 11th vote.
He's losing
wait a minute.
support.
Now we're on the 11th vote.
Yeah.
What?
11 votes. This is yesterday. He beat the
11 is done. Now they're going on to 12.
He beat.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, they're just going to keep voting
They
and voting?
say
Apparently.
this is the first time in 100 years this has happened. Okay, but wait a minute. Now with this current 11 things, it hasn't happened in the last 180 years. It's amazing.
Isn't that the definition of insanity?
Yeah.
Oh, 3 times over. You know.
Well, he does have 200 that did vote for him, though.
Well, that's what he's probably saying to himself. Hey,
Yeah.
200. Here's what I think what's really stupid is the Republicans should just say, okay, let's start voting for other people. Let's just.
Well, who else is there? Who else is running? Who wants it?
Who's the guy? There's one guy.
Donald. I always say McDonald. McDonald.
No. They keep putting him up there, but
Scalise. They keep bringing up Scalise.
Scalise is
Yeah.
probably the closest guy to maybe that everybody would agree on.
They fucking nominated Trump today.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's
He got
Gates.
one vote.
That's Gates. He's a nut.
Yeah. Did he get 1 vote? I saw he got 3 votes. I think.
Or maybe it was
Yeah, I saw he got 3.
Yeah.
But what it's doing is it's sending the wrong message to the rest of the country. I mean, they're just going, these Republicans are a bunch of losers. They can't get it together just to even agree on somebody to be their leader.
100 years ago when this happened, it was the Republicans that did it.
Yeah.
With who? Do you know? Do you know who?
Huh?
I don't know the name.
You know
Yeah.
who? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's probably Al
It happened
Capone.
in the 20s, 23, I
It was
think.
it was 1923. Yes.
Now, a couple of things that happen here, and correct me if I'm wrong, Josh, is that anybody can be put up for Speaker of the House. Alan here could be put up for Speaker of the House. That's a frightening proposition, but you know.
You mean you don't have to be an elected official?
No, you don't. No, you don't have to be a member of Congress.
Wow. Yep.
That's why Gates was able to bring up Donald Trump.
Yes, exactly. There's a very good example. Yeah, yeah.
It would be shameful if he got more votes than McCarthy.
Well, that's not going to happen, but, you know, I mean, at this point, McCarthy should just say, all right, look, for the good of the party, you know, and so we can all get along, and so our party can have unity, I'm going to step down and not go for the nomination. But he won't. And are we up to 11 now? Is that where we left off?
12.
Yeah, they're starting at 12. They're going to go into 12 tomorrow.
Oh, 12 tomorrow.
Is there an upper limit that is reached at some point?
Oh, thousands maybe.
This can go on for the 4 years.
And the horrible part about it is all these people who won their congressional districts, right, who have got to be sworn in as congressmen, they can't swear in until they get a Speaker of the House. Yep. So they're all sitting there. They're bringing their kids with them every day because they want their kids to see them get sworn in.
And Pelosi won on the Democrat side 6 or 8 times, and every time on the first vote.
Yeah. Usually the people they put up are the people they want. You know.
Right. How do Republicans defend this? And I mean Republican supporters, not the politicians. Like how
it's funny. I haven't been looking. I haven't been watching Fox to get that. You know, how they're spinning this thing. You know,
well, they keep saying that they're close to a deal. They're close to a deal. They're closer to a deal.
They said that before the 11th vote, and the vote was exactly the same.
Yep.
So I don't know who's doing.
Didn't convince anybody.
Yeah, I mean, you know, who's doing the negotiating for them? Harvey Weinstein? I mean, come on.
And what are they negotiating?
They could fuck up and have a Democrat get in there.
Well, what they may have to do, from what I see, is they may have to go over to the Democrats and say, if you'll vote for somebody for our side so we get going here, we'll make these concessions to the Democrats. Or they could go to the Democrats and agree on a really middle-of-the-road speaker.
How about Manchin?
Huh?
From Virginia. How about Manchin from West Virginia?
Manchin, yeah.
He's the senator.
Oh, that's right. He's senator. I'm sorry.
I mean, he could be speaker, I guess. He could do both jobs.
Yeah.
There were a bunch of congressmen who were would-be mansions. Would they be green mansions?
They should do Liz Cheney.
Yeah. Well, how are you looking at this whole thing, Josh? You're our politic wonk.
Well, I mean, they'll keep doing what they're doing until they decide, but eventually they're going to have to accept, some sort of coalition leader, which to them is going to mean that they're weakened and they're not going to have as much power as they want, but they should have accepted that anyway because the majority that they were given was minute. Mm-hmm. So their power was already weak. That's what the people said they wanted, was weak power. If they wanted them to have everything they wanted anytime, all the time, they would have given them a 70-vote majority.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But they didn't. They gave them the smallest one that you could literally
I can't remember today who suggested a good possible Speaker of the House would be the QAnon shaman.
I mean, I heard some people say that they wouldn't, but, at some point, the Democrats could possibly approach them and say that we would agree to support somebody, or even McCarthy, if you agree to pursue your legislative agenda, which is fine.
Yeah.
But you have to, but there is going to be no special committee to investigate the weaponization of the FBI. There's not going to be an impeachment of the Department of Homeland Security Secretary. Yeah. There's not going to be a special prosecutor for Hunter Biden. What I'm saying?
We're not going to buy Hunter Biden a new laptop. Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's a perfectly legitimate ask. Yeah. We're not asking you not to introduce legislation. You may introduce whatever legislation you want, because that's part of the democratic process. What we're asking you to do is not pursue things that are not part of the democratic process. And a special select committee to investigate the FBI weaponization, whatever that even means, that's not part of the legislative
wait a minute.
process.
I may be wrong, but doesn't the FBI carry weapons?
Yes.
Yeah. I know they were using that term weaponization.
You know, I mean, if they would agree to knock off that sort of, you know, that extreme, ridiculous stuff that is just out there to, you know, raise money and do, you know, other stupidity,
well,
you know, then they could maybe get some Democratic support. But if they're not going to agree to do that, then Democrats shouldn't agree to vote for someone they don't believe is qualified to be the speaker. Why should they?
Those 20 Republicans that got elected, they're not even serious. I mean, like, one guy, his only qualification was he was on Shark Tank and he got a tattoo on his fucking bicep that says "We the People," and he made beer bottle openers out of bullets. That's his claim to fame, and he got elected to Congress.
Really, I saw that guy on Shark Tank.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now he's a fucking congressman from Arizona.
I mean, you know,
these guys aren't serious. They're just out for fame.
That's right.
How lucky you
Exactly
are,
right.
Rob.
What were you saying, Rob?
No, I was agreeing. They're out for fame. It's become a way like reality TV.
They're not serious.
And how come Matt Gaetz is how come Matt Gaetz is still a congressman after all that stuff with teenage girls?
I know.
You know, why doesn't the government bust these people? Are they afraid to? Because they're going to say, "Oh, it's all just politics. They're trying to get me because I'm, you know, I'm a right winger." I don't understand. I don't get it.
Trump should be already in jail by now.
Oh yeah. Or at least, you know, lawyering up.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, the people's representatives within their individual districts, you know, that's who was elected. And so those people have the right to elect.
How about these morons out in Long Island here who voted for that guy Santos?
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, you know, no matter how poor their choices are, that's what they made, and they're within their rights to do that.
Well, do you really think the Americans...
Now that those people are in Washington D.C. sitting in a session of the U.S. House of Representatives to choose a leader, you know, they have to not just look at their district, you know. I mean, they have to look at the nation as a whole because they are an elected member of a body that represents the nation as a whole. And their job is to work on legislation for, you know, the national interest, not purely just their district. You know, parochial interest is what tore this country apart and what made it stumble and fall, you know, in the early days. And setting those aside is the only thing that's ever allowed it to move forward.
Let me ask you this, though. You know, and I know this sounds like a horrible thing I'm about to say, and it is a horrible thing I'm about to say, but the American public deserves it. Do you think maybe they don't deserve the right to vote? I mean, come on. Given the chance of a guy who's lied about everything on his resume and somebody who I think was in Congress before, they picked the guy who lied through his, you know, his
that's they didn't find out that he lied until after the election was over.
But nobody did any. Where was the Oppo, work being done on?
Look, that was their choice, and if the people had enough, you know, demand, then they could they could go through various processes for recalls and things like that, depending on their state, or, you know, the party as a whole could choose to expel him.
He was Jewish
and have a replacement, but they have to put national pressure on the party to do that.
He was the perfect candidate. He was gay. He was Jewish. His mother was in the buildings during 9/11. Okay. And he went on and on. He made a couple of $1 million.
He's Latino too.
He was Latino as well as being Jewish. He was a Jewish Latino. Well, when they did a little research, they found out none of these things were true. Nothing. Zero. Only in America. Americans shouldn't be allowed to vote, okay? Or run for political office.
Well, he should be ousted because he's a liar. Yes. He ran on a play. If you apply for a job and you say you have a degree at Harvard University and they accept you and they do some research and find out that you were lying on your resume, that is grounds to be ousted from the company. No questions asked. Why is that not the case?
Well, he said these were all embellishments, and I got news for him. You know, saying that you got an A and when you got nothing but B's is an embellishment.
Yeah.
Getting a bunch of D's and saying you got A's is not an embellishment.
Yeah, I mean, but Rob is right. I mean, an embellishment is saying that you have a PhD when you have a master's degree and you took some PhD courses is an embellishment. Saying you have a PhD and you didn't graduate high school is a totally different.
Yeah.
It's an outright lie.
You know, it's about 10 years worth of work, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, so he shouldn't be allowed to take office because he lied in his application to the people.
He hasn't been sworn in yet.
Nope, he hasn't.
Yeah, but he will be. He's sitting there waiting. And by the way, he gets to vote in each of these things.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
Because
I mean, look, that's what I'm saying. That
you think our forefathers just didn't think people would blatantly lie that way, and that's why there's nothing built in that says if you get an office, pretenses that you are still going to stay in office.
No, the founding fathers trusted the people, but when Trump came around, he recruited all these stupid motherfuckers that started to pay attention to politics, and that's where we're at.
Yeah.
There's too many stupid fucking people voting now. In the past, we didn't have those idiots. They didn't pay attention because they were too stupid.
Yeah.
You know?
And Brazil is, as somebody just wrote here, and they're right. Brazil is thinking of charging Santos with something, right? He's wanted down there.
Yeah, they're passing bad checks.
They have a warrant for his arrest. They're talking about extraditing him.
You left at a really bad time. The comedy of errors that's happening in this country.
Oh, believe me, I have on my TV here. I have Apple. I'm sorry, YouTube TV.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So with a VPN, which I have here, I watch the same channels you do. The New York television channels. I watch the news, Channel 4, Channel 2. Everything here is just like I'm home.
Oh, okay.
I have everything here. I could watch. I don't miss out on anything. I've been busy and haven't paid really close attention.
Well, there is one Philippine channel you probably should be watching, and that's the All Car Crash channel.
I knew that was coming.
That's the problem with Vietnam. When I was in Vietnam last, they're starting to get too many cars, and Vietnam's built for scooters. Scooters are very good. You have every house is the business underneath, and so you have in that small area that you can scooter, you have access to everything, all your home improvement stuff, or everything you have there. So now they're starting to get too many cars, and these cars are
I was in Beijing. In Beijing, during high traffic periods, it's horrible. It's just
I took video. I'm gonna edit it, and I'm going to send it.
Okay.
I gotta publish it somewhere. In traffic, I had to drive. I drove to Manila yesterday. I told my wife we're hiring a driver from now on. I am no longer driving. I'll drive to the local mall. I'll drive around here and on the highways. But I am not going to drive through Metro Manila ever again.
Yeah, well, Beijing was bumper to bumper traffic. Okay, and just 10 years earlier, those were all dirt roads. I mean, that's how Beijing has changed. They were all dirt roads, and people used bicycles. Yep. And now they don't use bicycles anymore.
Thank goodness they killed people here. I almost killed the guy on the scooter.
Yeah, but if you did, if everybody in Manila were on scooters, they probably wouldn't be killing each other. But because their cars mixed up with scooters, you've got a lethal combination going there.
Big trucks. I was in front of a big cement mixer yesterday. So there's everything.
Yeah,
they come in. They like say you're parked. You're stopped in traffic. and you've got, I don't know, 2 feet in front of, your bump between your car and the car in front of you. You have a foot or 2 feet, whatever. Scooters go through. Everybody just goes through. Somebody will make a turn. There's no such thing as getting to a corner, making a U-turn. No. If someone's coming in the opposite direction and they want to get across, they'll just go between you and that car in front of you while you're stopped. It is like, you know how water finds a way, like it rushes, and that's exactly the way the traffic is here.
That's the beauty of it.
Isn't there
when you look at the videos from Vietnam and you see those big intersections, you just drive slow and you just get right in the flow of everything, and
there's no traffic lights.
Yeah.
Isn't there a Filipino traffic school opening up on Mar-a-Lago this week?
That's a good idea. If Trump hears about it,
yeah. He tells people how to drive their scooters.
There's this guy that wants to come on who I talked to him after the show last night because he was still in the waiting room. And that was the guy that tried to call me last night. Did you see this thing? And I saw that you were doing something, and I want to talk. And he just wasn't interesting. I said to myself, I kind of didn't encourage him, but unfortunately,
so he's back tonight.
He's trying again tonight. Yeah, I feel sorry for him. He seemed like he was an okay guy, but
it's McCarthy looking for an extra vote.
Yeah, it just wouldn't have worked out very well. Let me put it that way. I mean, I like the combination tonight because I got some really smart people here tonight, with the exception of Alan. No, but I mean, we got. Did you know this about Rob? Did you know this about Charlie? That he has his degree. What do you think he has his degree in? You have a master's, right? Right, Charlie?
I've said it many times.
Yeah, but you have a master's, right?
Yes.
What do you think he has a master's in? They all know.
I knew he had an advanced degree. I don't remember. It's some sort of engineering.
No, astrophysics.
Yeah.
He's an astrophysicist. We have a rocket scientist on our panel.
He's been on the Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it really just, Charlie just, I'm in awe of Charlie. Just to be on the nice side of this thing, but.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else is happening here? Or what's happening in Philippines? What's the big news story in the Philippines today?
I don't know. I don't follow Filipino news.
Newcomer from New York runs over scooter.
I have met the mayor here. I was at the mall, and I stand out, right? I'm white. People look at you. You stand out here. And so
you're lucky you have dark hair.
Well, everybody has dark hair here.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but be there a while, and you'll probably get rather brown skin from the weather.
Probably, but I mean, people know I'm Anglo. I'm a Caucasian, and so I was standing in Starbucks waiting for my coffee, and there were these 4 gentlemen sitting at a table, and they tapped me, and we started a conversation. Turns out I met the mayor of the city and his captains. And they asked me to sit down, and they wanted to do. I mean, I got into a whole thing. People are just ultra interested because I'm not from here, right? And so everybody wants to talk to you. And so I found out that it happened to be the week that they were voting on changing the municipality here. It's called Baliwag, changing it from just a town to become a city. And with that, they get more revenue coming in. And with that, the plan is they want to open up a new hospital. They want a free dialysis clinic for people. And the guy was telling me all these things that they're planning to do. And the vote did pass. So they are going to make this, they did already make this town a city so that it will get more funds from the national government.
Yeah.
And plans. I got in with the mayor here already. It's been fun. It's been an interesting ride for these past 3 weeks. A lot of learning to do here. Again, the only bad thing so far is the driving. I really used to love it.
Why don't you get little cameras mounted to the side of your vehicle aiming backwards?
Yeah.
I put in a dash cam, a rear cam.
Oh yeah.
And because you need that.
To get out of your driveway.
Let me tell you, it is not fun to drive. And I let my nephew drive. He's 19. He could drive. Let him. Yeah. I don't want any part of it.
Wow.
When they're 19, they just run over the scooter and keep going.
Did you guys hear about that Tesla that went off Devil's Slide over here?
Yeah, we were talking about that last night.
We were talking about it last night.
First, I saw that happened, and that supposedly the people weren't really hurt. And I went, "What an ad! What an ad for Tesla!" You know. And then somebody mentioned that they were hurt, and that there was then
they weren't killed.
Well, then there was a guy who was driving, and the rest of the people were passengers. And the guy who was driving, they're charging with attempted murder or something like that because he purposely drove off the cliff.
Yeah.
Or was paid by Elon Musk to do it.
I think they're more than just a little bit hurt, John.
Yeah, but
they're 220-foot drop.
No, but the original news on the national news that came out was that they came out of it with just some scratches.
Oh, really? I didn't see that. I saw
kids. There was 2 kids in the back that didn't get hurt, but the 2 adults in the front were pretty hurt, pretty bad. But they got the people out they brought them up out on helicopters, to get them out. But they left the car down there in the bottom of the cliff.
Well, no, I had heard that they'd put it on automatic and immediately went up.
Okay. Is there any significance to the story that it is a Tesla?
Well, I don't know.
Because of the political.
They're going to put a light on it so people can watch out for the car and the curb there.
It could have been on auto drive, maybe.
No, they checked that.
They verified it was not.
Yeah, that was the first thing they did.
Okay. I was a Tesla owner before I moved, and the damn car is the best damn car I have ever owned in my life.
That's what people tell me.
It is unbelievable. There is nothing like driving a
I heard this thing was on or whatever, and
my first time,
but he was like all kind of weird, and I didn't think he would fit in here because he really didn't know what we were doing. He was just calling to be calling something, but now he's just getting so.
Maybe it's Brian's kid, the kid that came in and Brian was eating on the show and told Brian not to eat on the show.
No.
Yeah.
You should have come back when I was on the show eating.
Maybe it's Phil.
Ryan, yeah.
Yeah, but
maybe it's Phil.
Maybe it's Phil. Yeah, really.
I wish I could just put him on a list not to.
You mentioned Bree. Is Bree still in Dubai?
No, he's in. Where is he now? He's in Malaysia.
He's in Malaysia now, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Something Kuala Lumpur or something.
Kuala Lumpur.
No, he was in there for a while, for a couple of years. And then
but he's near Kuala Lumpur. He's not actually in. I think he's in a suburb or something of Kuala Lumpur. But then again, that's such a small country. Everybody's a suburb of Kuala Lumpur. But no, he's his life is interesting. I think he spent most of his life for the last 15, 20 years not living in the United States. Yeah. Been on, and he teaches at schools and things like that. So that's something you can do internationally. Well, I don't know what you do if you can't speak the language.
That's the beauty of the Philippines, is that most people here speak English. So it's not, it may be difficult to understand their accents and such, but at least you do. And every sign, street signs, everything is in English.
Well, it's horrible that I picked a profession, where I can't work in a foreign country because I'd have to know how to speak the language.
There's a lot of English-speaking radio here.
Really? With people who are American or have American accents?
I don't know. I don't listen that frequently, but my niece, before she moved to Germany, she's Filipina. Mm-hmm. She worked in radio here, all in English.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, and of course, having you now calling from the Philippines should up our Philippine listenership.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, man. It's just, what a crazy world we live in. You don't miss the politics in the United States, do you? I mean, it was getting nutty.
Didn't miss it while I was there. I tuned out to most of it. I find it silly. I find it sophomoric. I don't know. I have no patience for that kind of silly things, like a guy who's had 11 votes and doesn't walk away.
Yeah.
Just, it's become like another. I don't watch reality TV. It's become reality TV.
Well, no doubt that reality TV has influenced the way we report the news. Okay,
And
like we got these.
That.
We get back to this old thing. There were these 4 kids who got murdered. Okay, and for 4 or 5 weeks, at least once a day in the news, there was a story about they still haven't caught him. They still haven't caught him. They don't know this, and big case. I don't know if you were around when it first started, but it was a big case. And when I started to think about it, they were 3 really cute girls. I mean, hot girls. I mean, they were very attractive. And the guy was a very attractive white guy. If these were 4 black kids, they'd say, well, those blacks are killing each other again. But because it was 4 white kids, it made the news every day, until they caught the guy that finally did it,
The guy that finally did it thought he could outsmart the police by changing cars and driving back to the scene.
Yeah. But this guy supposedly, the way in which they caught him, they thought that the Moscow Police Department were just doofuses and weren't doing anything. But all they were doing was not telling the press anything, because they didn't want to play their hand. And it turns out now they did everything right. They had this guy as a suspect from almost 2 or 3 days in, because the guy left a knife sheath at the crime scene with his DNA on it. What?
Having the guy as the suspect and arresting him are 2 different things.
Yeah, but I mean, they followed him all over the country. They didn't let him know he was being followed. And
they took their time.
But all I'm saying is, I get back
to get a solid case.
I get back to the original story, because these were 4 really attractive white kids. It was a big news story.
Absolutely.
But if it were 4 even attractive black kids, it wouldn't have made the news like it did.
When did this happen?
This happened about a month or 5 weeks ago.
Yep.
In what state?
In where?
Idaho.
And he was these kids were literally murdered. I don't know if they were in their sleep or whatever, but a guy used a machete or something like that.
Stabbed them to death or something.
Yeah.
You should have went to Yellowstone Park. You can do it there and not get convicted.
Why is that?
Because there's no jurisdiction in a part where Montana, Wyoming, and Idaho meet. If you murder somebody in that area, it's in the park. You can't get a jury.
On Yellowstone, when they have somebody they don't like, okay, and they want to take them out, they say, well, we're taking you to the train station. And the train station is this cliff that they throw them over because it's in between a bunch of counties where there's no law or anything. So they kind of were referring to that, I think, on Yellowstone.
Well, it's a federal property. It's controlled by the feds, the federal police, the FBI, or somebody.
Well,
no, yeah, of course. I mean, I wouldn't test it in
well,
court.
thank you for telling our whole audience if they want to murder somebody where they can go.
And that's where we do it.
We like to think that we on this program manage to help people's lives just a little bit better. I agree with you, Rob. I mean, this country is just insane. And I can understand why I imagine you're happy to be where you are, right?
Yeah, I didn't move out of the country because of that. I moved out of the country because I have a wife who's significantly younger than me. Mm-hmm. And when I retired with a gun to my head this past July because this job I accepted was too big for me. There was too much going on. I was asked to retool myself again, recertify, relearn all this new stuff. by the time I would have done that, I would have been, I'm 60, I'll be 66 next week. I would be 67, 68. What am I doing it for? So I decided it's time to go. It's time to end it. And I wanted to work longer. Had I stayed at my old job, I would have. Yeah. So when it started affecting my health, the stress, I said, that's it. I'm retiring. My wife is only 42. She can't retire. She needs medical, right? And in order for her to, I would be home alone every day. You know, she'd be working, I'd be home for her medical benefits. So I decided if we come here, live like a king, and we both retire, and we could travel, and we could do whatever we want to do. I don't have to worry about working. So that's why we moved, not because of politics.
Well, because you're able to get Social Security now, right?
Absolutely. My Social Security here is more than doctors and lawyers earn here.
Really?
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Considered wealthy on Social Security.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll just pack up and come out and join you.
I rent. This is a 3-bedroom. It's small. It's only about, this is just a rental till we figure out where we want to build. This is costing me $340 a month.
That's cheaper than my apartment.
That's cheaper than my little studio in the timber.
Yeah.
Or were you around for that when I finally got my new rent?
You have a new rent now.
Yeah.
You settled?
Yeah.
The Philippines have universal health care?
You've been to my place.
They do. Next week, though, I'm not going to use what they call PhilHealth, is the universal health care here. I'm going to get a policy.
By the way, in case people don't know, that's Phil Myers insuring everybody in the Philippines.
So you know how reliable that is, right? But no, I'm going to be going next week I've got an appointment with a company called Pacific Health, whatever it is, and I'm going to sit down with them and talk about a policy somewhere in of a range of about $3,000 a year, $3,500 a year. Will insure me medical coverage here, even if you get cancer, if you get serious stuff. If you insure yourself for $500,000 pesos. You're in really good shape.
That's 35 cents, by the way.
$500,000 pesos. It's about 54 pesos to the dollar.
That's right.
Yeah. So I mean, do they have socialized medicine there No.
They have PhilHealth, which is a government health insurance plan that's very inexpensive, and you can go to any of the public hospitals here. Private hospitals, you can't use it.
Yeah. Well, it sounds. I would move somewhere else, to another country, but I just, there's just no place that's cheap enough. So maybe the Philippines is a good idea.
So, yeah, you could live here on, I would say, a minimum of $2,000 a month.
Oh, wow.
You got to like hurricanes a lot,
and that's going out to restaurants and. You can live very well on about $2,000 a month.
Wow. Well, I can't leave here because I can't give up this rent. At least
you rent there.
Oh, $500 a month.
Can't you sublease your place?
Huh? No.
That's how the trouble started.
That's how the trouble started in the first place. At $500, I don't need to sublet. Okay.
No.
That's great. Wow. And how long is that? Is that good for as long as you stay there?
Well, they could have appealed the judge's decision, but it's been a year now since the judge came down with the decision, and I don't think they're going to appeal it. Wow. They probably figure those two old coots are going to be dead anyway soon. So why spend the legal fees to do it?
That's a tremendous place you got. I was there.
Yes, I know. And so how do I say goodbye to this?
I mean, you're right there in New York City. Where are you going?
In the middle of the city.
Yeah.
What a great deal.
Yeah, well, you've been here, Rob, right? Have you come to our place?
Yeah.
So you know what I'm talking about. And but it's I'm happy for you. That you don't have any mover's remorse.
No stress. Every day I wake up and it's stress free.
Yeah.
All I have to think about is my radio station and what I'm eating for dinner.
Yeah, your little radio station is called what again?
Retro Rocks.
Retro Rocks, and you just go online to it, and are you still paying? You still paying the royalties for the music and everything? Yeah.
Yes.
Really? Oh, okay.
All legal.
What kind of listenership do you have?
Yeah, well, not great.
That's the same.
I just created a new. It's a hobby. I'm never looking to make money off of it. If that ever happens, then great. I just updated the apps. I got a new app for my for iPhones and Androids. And now I've got the capability of being able to share with listeners what's coming up over the weekend, what special programming we got going on. Like I've got an interview Sunday morning, not me, but one of the shows I run. If anybody's a Yes fan, this Sunday morning at 10 Eastern, there's an interview with Rick Wakeman. It's an hour with Rick Wakeman and his music. So,
wow, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, it's called Retro Rocks, ladies and gentlemen.
Retro Rocks, one word.
Put that in your browser, and it'll show up. And I've heard it. I've heard it. It's a lot of fun to listen to. It's a good listen.
I didn't know Rick Wakeman was still alive.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, we lost Alan White Alan White and Chris Squire.
Emerson. It's Emerson, wasn't
Keith Emerson, I believe, passed.
Yeah. Wasn't Rick Wakeman in that band with Emerson, Lake and Palmer?
No. Otherwise, it would be called Emerson, Lake and Wakeman.
Which sounds like a law firm.
Yes. Right. What was
Brian,
what was the law firm we came up with last night? I forget now.
Somebody at my door.
I can't remember it. Anyway,
I remember. Cheatham and Howe?
Dewey Cheatham and Howe, yeah. Let me see here. Oh, well, I got about another minute left. I hope we see Rob before we
Isn't
leave.
that the playbook of the Republican Party, how we cheat them and how?
Dewey Cheatham and Howe.
Oh, Dewey
Cheatham and Howe.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
I missed that.
Anyway, where we lost...
He said somebody was at his door.
Huh? Somebody was at the door. Oh, I hate to say goodbye to him. I hate to leave without being able to say goodbye. But anyway, Jack is here again tonight. I spent 2 hours with him today on his machine fixing stuff for him. So hopefully everything's going to be fine. Keep my fingers crossed. Yeah. Hey, listen, Rob. Let me play the theme here. Can I start playing it? Sure, why not? Rob, you got to call us more often now. You got all the time in the world to call us now.
Yeah, it's only like 12:30 or 1 o'clock, right?
What time is it there?
It's almost 1 p.m.
1 p.m.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. God, you can call us and then go out and crash into a couple of mopeds,
Like I said, I would have done it already. It's just that I forget. I'm like, I missed it again.
Yeah, the guy was good. He just call Uber and then wait for him. Hey, thank you. Thank you, Josh. I really appreciate you calling. It's always between you and Charlie, we had like the brain trust here at the beginning of the show. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you to Alan. Thank you. Always good to see you, John. And we should see you more often. Rob, call us. Okay. And Kevin, you didn't say anything tonight, Kevin.
Something.
Okay, there we go. And Brian was kind of quiet tonight, too.
Okay, we're catching up with Rob. That's good.
Yeah. Anyway, hey, listen, everybody, give a big wave goodbye, and I'll give a big wave goodbye at you, okay? There they go, folks. That's our citizen panel for tonight. We'll see them. We'll see another panel tomorrow night, same time, same station in life, at 10:30 Eastern Daylight Time. In the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her. Good night, everybody.